What are the biggest offseason issues facing the NFC West, including three quarterbacks to watch? It's time to find out and break it down as another series here on Fantasy Football.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NFL fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Locked On Fantasy Football Podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Vinnie Iyer, and I'm not doing this. I'm writing about NFL and fantasy football for SpeedNews.com. It is Combine Week. Workouts will get underway here in a couple of days. Players are coming in, 320 invites there, getting ready for the 2022 NFL Draft. We have plenty more content here for you as we announce scouting mode on Locked On Fantasy Football the offseason. But it's time to go divisions here. And what we're going to do as the Combine is kind of the unofficial off to the offseason activity. We're going to look at all 8 divisions in the NFL, explore the biggest questions facing 4 teams. And we're going to start with a hot topic for sure. We're going to go west to east. We're going to go NFC to AFC. And we'll start with the West. And we know why the NFC West is a big deal here. A lot of rumblings about Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson. What are the 49ers going to do? They're going to do a quarterback. And then, by the way, the Super Bowl 56 champ Los Angeles Rams, who just won on their home field at SoFi Stadium. They have at least the issues. So these other teams are dangerous. We know because 49ers were in the championship game, we're in the playoffs, and the Seahawks very good with Russell Wilson, had their first losing season with him missing a couple games here in 2021. So we'll break down for you on today's show. We'll go team by team here, starting with Arizona, closing with Seattle. Thanks for making Locked On Fantasy Football your first day. We're free and available for you on all platforms. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season. More props than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, let's start the show. Looking at Kyler Murray, weird stuff going on with Kyler Murray. He changed his account there to remove mention of the Cardinals, and now his agent woke up here on Monday, breaking news here Monday afternoon, talking about Vinnie Iyer for a long-term deal. Now he's going to get it here. We assume here as the first overall pick at quarterback. His contract not quite ready to renew. This is the year. The extension needs to happen during the 2022 season. But what the Cardinals are facing here is that Kyler wants some action. The leverage he's using is that he could go to baseball or explore other avenues there of success. But keep in mind the baseball right now with the lockout on. So Kyler Murray just trying to get paid. I think Kyler Murray, the one thing about him, he's very proud of himself, and he should be. Very talented player. He was drafted in 2 sports. He's an amazing player. He's very smart, very athletic. He just feels like he should be rewarded more for what he's done with Cardinals. And I think he was disrespected for that Rams playoff loss, where Kyler Murray is the biggest reason why on the map right now. With all their things, I know their playmaking defense woke up a little bit. They've had different guys shuffled through the running game and receiving core that help with the Cliff Kingsbury offense. But Kyler Murray is kind of changed with Cardinals operate things. Mind they revolve their whole team around Kyler Murray's skill set here. But the Cliff Kingsbury coaches, he was the biggest reason for Kingsbury's in the first place. So Murray's looking for more stability and just saying, look, I am your franchise quarterback. Just get it done here. And there's no doubt that he is that. So this question here is Kyler Murray going to be happy in Arizona and also deliver at a high level in fantasy? Now that's a different story because DeAndre Hopkins coming off his ending injury. You have AJ Kirk are both free agents. Tight ends here, Zach Ertz and Max Williams, who went down with an injury early. So what to do here, the Kyler Murray and the Cardinals for a lot of things to watch out for there for sure. That we're not sure. Are they going to open it up again and let Kyler Murray run? Or are they going to stick with this offense that things around and maybe try to push it to another gear? All their wide receivers haven't out the way they want, but I think this has felt better operating with that tight end. So we'll see if Ertz is a priority here this offseason to keep here. Max Williams, I mean, the injury is just tough. He's tough. He's a former Raven. He's got some ability here, but unfortunately, again, it's just a tough thing to recover from, and they can't keep both. Ertz is the older player, but he did seem to have chemistry with Curry. So a lot of things the Cardinals are weighing. And don't forget about two other guys that are agents that we talked about a lot in breaking down our free agency position by position. James Conner, Edmonds. So the Cardinals have got to figure out a lot. They're not in the greatest cap situation. Their offensive line is pretty, so that helps. They're a pretty good running team. But what are they going to do? Is Hopkins going to get full strength? Do they need to invest more wide receiver here and clear the decks with some veterans? A Green just on legs here. He's really old at this. Christian Kirk has had some moments, but that good as a potential too. I'm not sure about that. So Cardinals, a lot of things in Kyler Murray. So it's not just Kyler testing and keeping him around the quarterback. And so a lot of big question mark. Big season for Cliff Kingsbury. It's looked pretty good here offensively, but the running back and some of the offensive limitations, and they still got in the playoffs, which is funny. That I think they were in some way a lot better team the year before when they had that injury late to Murray. Where I think this year they were a little bit big play dependent. It's broke in their favor to sneak in the playoffs. Got hot early, so and this is pretty. I think the expectations are going to be high for Kingsbury and this team to win big, and also Murray to put it all together here and branch from being a very good quarterback to an elite, which he's not quite there. That John say territory of quarterbacking. So a lot of stuff here that we're going to watch with the Cardinals this off season. All right, so the biggest question: Kyler Murray. Can he set it up here and then push it forward? I think there's a lot of question marks about that, and the Cardinals need to figure out fast because Kyler really wants out of there. They don't commit to him, so it's got to be here now or never. Kyler, and they got to lock in. They already did this once with Josh Rosen. They quickly moved it, and they knew he wasn't going to be the guy. Murray is the guy. Let's get it done here. So at least he's stable there, and I think that'll help him kind of produce a little as well if they can get him taken care of and figure out what his skill position players are going to be here in 2020. This is a time of the year that pretty much given up on all my year's resolutions, but not this year. This year I'm sticking to my resolution. Thanks to Built Bar. Feels like it's not really a resolution because I actually enjoy eating them. Have you tried the Puffs? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting bars. Puffs are the first ever protein use marshmallow. They're fluffy. They're marshmallow, not just a protein bar. They're a treat, and they're covered in 100% chocolate. All Built Bars are covered in 100% chocolate. Yes, Puffs include 100% real chocolate. So if you're missing chocolate with your resolution, don't worry about it. Built Bars is going to get you healthy and the way you want it here in 2022. Low calorie, high protein candy bars. They're better for you and they're better tasting. A typical candy bar can be up to 200 to 300 calories. Go.com, scroll down and look at the macros. You'll be blown. High protein, low calorie, high fiber, 130 calories typically per Built Bar. 4 grams of sugar, only 4 grams, and get the 17 grams of protein. The candy bar, which is empty calories of 3 or more, 30 grams of sugar, and tons of net. So check out all the great flavors, including mint brownie, coconut, almond, and don't forget white chocolate cookies and cream. It is the flavor of the month here as we transition from February to March. All flavors are delicious, and they're coming out all the time. You got to check it out. If you have suggestions, and they'll probably make it work for you with a healthy, delicious combination. Just go to Built.com, use the promo code 15 to get 15% off your order. Use the promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. All right, it's time to pick up the show we left off, and if we go A for Arizona Cardinals, That means we go to L for the Los Angeles Rams. So AZ to LA. Don't have a quarterback question here. They don't really have a question either at wide receiver. They do have one there that you think about with Robert Woods coming off a torn ACL. Odell Beckham Jr. hurt him Super Bowl, so he's got the major knee injury. So we already know Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods have history in their past, but also massive contracts right now. They're Rams, so I don't see any scenario Beckham Jr. can return here. They don't need it. When you look at Woods, basically Woods did very well in that role, playing opposite Cooper Kupp. You got to see how it sorts out a little bit here. They changed the tune at tight end. They turn the page. They go to Blair over Tyler Higbee. Do they like Bryson Hopkins more? So there's a lot of skilled player question marks in flux here. Matthew Stafford established it. And what do they do at running back? I mean, Cam Akers struggled in the Super Bowl, coming off a major injury at Darrell Henderson. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. And then you have Sonny Michel, who's a free agent here. We want to sort out skill players. I know that Sean McVay likes to feed his offense. So I would think Woods will go to maybe having the Odell Beckham role with the production really, really nice flowing off the Kupp. I don't know if they'll still get the tight end all that more involved here, whether it's Higbee or someone else. And then don't forget Van Jefferson. He was having a pretty good year early, but then they kind of went away from him. They used a little bit of Benetonic. They were very, very Kupp and Beckham heavy. So, and the backfield has to play out. I think Michelle probably won't be back. Sign elsewhere. He had a pretty good year down the stretch, waving the ball. I think he was there more of sack overall. Darrell Henderson looked okay. Had some nice games, flashed early, but he couldn't stay on the field. We know Cam Akers, fortunate injury before the season that created this question mark between Henderson and Michel. In the first place, they've already gone through this injuries with Todd Gurley, and he faded fast in the offense. So we're looking at the skill players here. They have choices. The Rams do. It's sorting out who's going to be the prime guys. And this is important again because McVay wants to make his circle of trust pretty small here in terms of who gets the touches and here in this offense. So looking forward to see what the Rams do here and settle, but expect again Woods back in the fold, Beckham, and we have a seamless exchange there in the number 2 reality and fantasy wide receiver is in Los Angeles. Now the 49ers are an interesting spot here. We thought, okay, Trey Lance, he's your first round pick from last year. You traded up to get him, made a buster move. So we're gonna say is just gonna get the job, right? No, Jimmy Garoppolo potentially not being traded back for one more year to help the bridge the gap with Trey Lance after they advanced to the NFC Championship game with Garoppolo. But contract, I think that's a question mark because the 49ers have a lot of cap space. So they Garoppolo if they wanted it for one more year. They like him as a leader in the locker room here, but they also know that that's a lot of money to do other things with. He was here to bolster what was on the brink of return Super Bowl for the second time in 3 seasons. So that's something to consider. So now you're hearing Aaron Rodgers rumors, even wilder Tom Brady out of retirement rumors. Carson Wentz has come up. Shanahan's even attached a little bit to Kirk Cousins. Maybe finally making that reality. So many different things that the 49ers have about quarterback, but they got to be the chance to start. He did play pretty well. Keep in mind, he had to start for Garoppolo there in a couple games, see some significant action down the stretch. He's young. The only question mark about Trey Lance. He's got the skill set, the arm, the athleticism, everything there. Trey Lance is going to be your 49ers starter. There's just a lot of window dressing on will they or won't they trade here. It's kind of silly. I think people at Lance was drafted because he had massive ceiling here. That he can add the running element to offense. He can handle the offense pretty well. Remember, this is one of the most quarterback-friendly offenses. This is why Jimmy Garoppolo got role was on the brink of another. Put up some good numbers because that's how quarterback-friendly this is. Don't have Trent Williams being a rock at left tackle. You have Mike McGlinchey coming back at right tackle at full strength here. And Tomlinson coming off a big year. Max still getting it done at center. So great offensive. Amazing weapons between Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. always reliable running game, now featuring Elijah Mitchell. This is a quarterback's dream here. Lance, we haven't seen Jimmy Garoppolo put up consistent fantasy football numbers, but with the running play floor Lance and getting the ball in the hands of these West, watch out here. So I think it's definitively Lance. I think there's all this other speculation, is Trey Lance good enough, but that's why you draft a franchise quarterback in year two. We've seen it before. Mahomes, big year, got these winning a lot of games, just Super Bowl II. They got to it and won it in year three. Second year really starting for him. And then you saw just now what Joe Burrow did for the Bengals, and Josh Allen having an accelerated learning curve. So it's okay to be young and have some special qualities. I think that is not a prize here for there's again quarterback. You got to go with the guy that you got excited about to draft. And I think Shanahan and John Lynch will be doing that here in 2022. We've been talking about the NFL draft, so check this out here on our Locked On pages here. Thanks for making us listen every day. Make sure you're also following Locked On NFL, Locked On Experts, covering the biggest stories around the NFL every Monday through Friday. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts, just like this show. Now, we also know that season is over for now, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. We're marching towards the NBA playing tournament before we playoffs. College has got the conference, the playing tournaments, the NCAAs. A lot of action ahead here as we wait for football return, and we also have USFL. Check it out on BetOnline. Down at from all its odds, total performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land. BetOnline.net is the number one spot for all your betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for our sports scores, podcast, and news this season. And it's not just basketball right now. BetOnline.net is your source for hockey, boxing, and ultimate fighting championship. Head to the website today or use a mobile device to learn the trends and action at betonline.net. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, it's time to close the show at our last team that we hear. That would be the Seattle Seahawks. Trying to get some clarity on Russell Wilson's future now. Just like Kyler Murray, there were some serious social media stuff with Wilson taking out Seahawks references there on Twitter. Ciara, all this stuff is to move somewhere else with Ciara. The first couple of Seattle, I guess, if you not include Megan Rapinoe, Sue Bird, but yeah, this is guilty in NFL in terms of these two here for Seattle. So I don't know what's going on with Russell Wilson, but it's leaning towards he's staying. Those are the initial reports. I wouldn't be totally old on this one. The Seahawks look like they'll have Pete Carroll back, but does that mean good things for Wilson, bad things for Wilson? Because they were talking about this on a separation from Pete Carroll to go win. Now the Seahawks have to act pretty quickly. They have a tough cap situation. They don't have a lot of draft capital. Still paying the price from that Jamal Adams trade with the Jets. So again, I think Wilson gives them their best chance to win this year. And the question is, believe after missing the playoffs and not having a winning season for the first time ever, was again he had that injury there, cost him a little bit of time. What do they do here? Because we know all other teams in this division, Rams and 49ers, made the playoffs. Two of them were in the NFC Championship game. One bowl. Seahawks have a lot of ground to cover here, and I don't know if Wilson can get there. Maybe that's what he's looking at as well. Is this the best place for me to chase that second Super Bowl ring? He's kind of in the same boat as Aaron Rodgers, where he likes it. He lifts the team. It's a situation. He's identifiable with his team coach and all that. But does he want that ring so badly that he wants to go in a better situation? We look at definitely the Pittsburgh Steelers would be a better avenue there for him at this point. Washington Commanders in a weak division there in the NFC, even the Cowboys on top there. So the NFC West is stacked. And if you lift your team quite enough, and they might lose Dwayne Brown at left tackle, they have to figure out if they're going to bring back Rashad Penny. You can't be over-dependent on Wilson at this point, and maybe that feels like as well, where a lot of pressure is on. So Very interesting with Seattle again right now, based on the timeline. I mean, getting into combine, you have to have a decision. I don't see Wilson being traded. Make it work with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. You got established receivers, but what do you get from D Eskridge? Does he still a little bit as a receiver in the key third target here? Are they underutilizing the tight end still with the Gerald Everett deal, a free agent as well? And Shane Waldron's offense, is there another change? And Wilson wanted all these changes. He got Waldron in there, but the offense kind of got stagnant. And I think missing the couple games in the middle of the season and Geno Smith coming in off the rhythm here of Russell Wilson in this new offense in year one. So year two could be a lot better. Giving it a go there to see what happens. Can they upgrade at the skill positions a little bit? Change backfield, upgrade their offensive line with some youth here. A lot of things that Wilson is looking for probably in Seattle. So I think it's very similar to what's going on with Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay, where he's just trying to use his veteran leverage. He's in his place. He's elite quarterback. He's got the one Super Bowl. How does he get a second one? He's trying to do this because he wants to do it in Seattle as much as well, but the Seattle going to oblige and make him with other pieces. That's what we're going to wait here. But again, Wilson was a real disappointment. And Kyler Murray was a mild disappointment, but Wilson was rather there as a fantasy quarterback. So they need help because if Everett goes and Eskridge doesn't have a good role, and it's very dependent on Metcalf and Lockett for his production, he's going to fall out of the QB1 status. So watch for from a fantasy football perspective involving Russell Wilson. There you have it. There's the four biggest questions across the four teams in the NFC West here on Locked On Fantasy Football. We want to break it down for you with like this for all the divisions. So we still have 7 more to go in the series. So that's what we kind of do all offseason. If you're checking us out for the first time, we kind of do looks at teams and divisions, players. We just keep getting you ready, building. It's a process that we work all the way through time for fantasy football in August. So lots in between. And given I'm a reality in NFL crossover guide, sport news, we're a lot of that here on Locked On Fantasy Football. So the hot button issues we're going to be all over here because they revolve around the quarterbacks or offenses. A lot into fantasy football. No division has more issues here than the NFC West. Thanks for making Locked On Fantasy Football your first live every day. We'll tell you that we're going to see and go to the NFC South tomorrow. The teams there post Tom Brady, post Drew Brees. We'll see what happens with that division. We'll go south to the NFC on tomorrow. Make your second NFL draft. Ryan Tracy and former NFL cornerback bring the NFL draft to life. Everyday analysis on college football prospects and NFL front office. It is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. For Locked On Fantasy Football, this has been Vinnie Iyer. Have a great day, and we'll check the NFC South.